Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to The Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired, episode number 39. Today, I am taking you on a field trip into your brain for another round of Magic School Bus meets Mean Girls mashup. And we're diving into our reticular activating system and how you can make fetch happen in your brain. Reticular activating system, CLG. Tell me more. Your brain, our brains, all human brains, they like to look for whatever we tell it to find. So think of this area of your brain like your own fluffy, super obedient golden retriever who loves to play fetch, like ball is life. Every belief that we have, and a belief is a thought that we think over and over, we want to think of that as a green tennis ball. When you think, I'm always late, or any thought that you have in your brain, especially when it comes to yourself and about your life, you are throwing a green tennis ball. Pretend that if you're in your brain, you're throwing a green tennis ball, and your brain, the obedient golden retriever, and in this case, the reticular activating system area of our brain, it chases after that green tennis ball. And it's so happy and pleased because it comes back to you with all of the reasons confirming that belief. For example, if I were to say, I'm always late, our reticular activating system thinks that that is the truth. And then what it does, without us even realizing it subconsciously, is it goes and it brings us back all of these reasons to confirm I'm always late. It will say, here, see how many times you've been late? Or you might think to yourself, late is who we are. Like, we're just a late family. We don't even bother changing. Or you could be thinking you're late because other people, they're just not as busy as we are. They don't have 4 kids. They don't understand what it's like to do Zoom school. They don't know my life, right? They can wait, okay? This also might present itself in your brain if you're like, you know what, being late isn't a big deal. Your brain starts to get really clever with you, and it starts to sort of justify the reasons for why you are the way that you are. You might even decide that you are embracing being late, even though it's actually something deep down you wish you weren't doing. But our little drunk toddler, which for those of you that are new to the prettiest podcast on the planet, a way that I lovingly like to describe our unmanaged mind is like a little drunk toddler, not a toddler that is actually drinking, because we don't advocate that here on Pretty Podcast. I know that every human listens to this has experienced a toddler. And you know, when they're really tired and they're not getting what they want, it's almost like they're a little bit drunk. It doesn't really make sense what they're doing. They sort of stagger around. Their emotions are very high. They inaccurately calculate situations. They're doing all this drunk math. That is what your drunk toddler is. If you search past episodes, I talk more about this concept. Maybe you were tuning out when I talked about the drunk toddler before. Our brain only fetches the supporting facts that we tell it, but it also purposefully ignores conflicting information. Another great way that this shows up is that the human eye on average blinks between 800 and 1200 times an hour, but we don't see any of those blinks. You know why? Our reticular activating system. Our brain chooses to ignore what it can't see, especially our conscious mind. Unconscious can take in 100 million times more information than our conscious mind. This is where the reticular activating system and what I'm about to share with you comes in extremely valuable. Our brain only fetches the supporting facts because it also is purposefully ignoring conflicting information. We miss all of the equally true evidence that supports the complete opposite belief or the complete opposite of the thought that we're thinking because we've told our brain, go find me evidence for that. Some examples I hear from my one-on-one coaching clients, they'll tell me, like it is the news, I'm lazy, I'm disorganized, I have to sacrifice something, I'll never be happy, I've already tried this and it doesn't work, no one likes me at my job, this is impossible. All of those things in your life that you think are complete facts, and I'm guessing they probably feel super true. These thoughts, these statements, these beliefs, they are not facts. They're just little bits of information or tennis balls that you gave your brain to go and find evidence for. And what happens is that this becomes our reality, not because all of these things that we're thinking are actually true. It's because of how we've shaped our environment to reflect it. And so it is, because that is the reality that we have created from our thoughts. So you've told your brain, fetch, go get me this. And your brain gets it and it shows it back to you. And it's very pleased with itself. It's like, see, I did so good. I gave you what you asked me. Now give me a treat. This is our reticular activating system in action. Part of its role is to actively seek out the information that we tell it. If you want to change anything in your life, which starts at the brain level because our thoughts create our results, our reticular activating system is our greatest asset because this reticular activating system, the RAS, it transmits information between our conscious and our subconscious mind. And the best part about this, the piece de resistance, is that just like that super obedient, fluffy golden retriever, it doesn't question us at all. Yeah, I'm serious. So whatever you tell it, it will believe because it cannot distinguish between fact and fiction. It simply obeys commands from your conscious mind. I know, I'm going to let that sink in for you right now. It cannot distinguish the two things. This is why when we talk about visualization or when I talk to my clients about feelings as fuel, if you are able to experience something and have it really, really feel as truth, your reticular activating system will think that it actually happened. Right now, you are finding the evidence for the truth of your thoughts, not because what you're thinking is actually true, because your brain will show you the evidence that you ask it for. You want to pay attention to what you're thinking about yourself and your life. Ask yourself, is this something that you want returned to you? Am I playing fetch with something that I want to believe? Or is this something that perpetuates the box of lies that I'm currently trapped in? The way you know if your thought is something that you want to believe is to see how that thought is making you feel. Observe the thoughts that you're thinking right now and decide, what if I asked my brain to show me what is possible? We all have a clear and clean canvas. Yep, all of us. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter how fucked up your childhood is. It doesn't matter if you are living in prison. We don't actually know one way or another what's going to happen. We do not know 100%. That is the truth. But our brain really craves certainty. The truth is that nothing is ever 100% certain. This is awesome because this means that we always have a 50% chance. You always have a 50% chance of accomplishing whatever it is that you want to accomplish. There's always that 50% chance. But what I see my one-on-one coaching clients do, and what I know is happening for you, is that you're spending more time in the 50% chance that it won't happen. Not only are you spending time there, but you are building this huge evidence file for why it won't happen. And what you're living in becomes what you believe the most. What you believe the most that has a lot of emotion behind it, because thoughts are the language of the mind and feelings are the language of the body. Pretties, when you're telling yourself something feels emotionally very true and circumstantially very true to us, whenever you have intense emotion surrounding the belief, it intensifies that belief to be a reality, because our reticular activating system doesn't know the difference. When we believe things and feel things so deeply, we become unnecessarily attached to the 50% of beliefs and thoughts that are saying no to our goals and the life that we want and the experiences that we want to have, instead of being attached to the 50% that are like, fuck yeah, this is totally possible for you. So this week, and for all time, pay attention to what it is that you're thinking about yourself and about your life and about the people in your life, and make sure that it's something that you want returned to you. I was coaching a client this week about her toddler and the bedtime, and about her wanting it to feel like not such a slog and to be able to enjoy it, while also balancing the reality that toddlers can be very, very trying on a parent's patience, especially if you're the parent that is doing, for the most part, all of the child raising and child rearing. Her brain had said on autopilot was that she hated doing the bedtime routine, that it was awful, and that her toddler was in charge of what was happening in her life. I lovingly called it her mini Mussolini. And what we realized was that, yes, her toddler is very smart, but her toddler is not balancing the checkbooks. Her toddler is not actually in charge of her life. Her brain was just letting her think that way, and all the evidence in her life was reflecting that. Observe the thoughts that you're thinking right now and decide, what if I ask my brain to show me how what I want is possible? Use your reticular activating system to play fetch and retrieve the results and the feelings that you want. Some questions you could ask yourself is, how am I good at this? How is this the best thing? Why is this for sure going to work this time? How is it true that people love being around me? Your brain will show you the evidence when you ask for it. And it is amazing, because when you change your beliefs about yourself and what's possible, everything in your life changes. If you're nodding your head yes, listen closely, because I might have the solution you've been searching for. My Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, a 6-week, highly individualized one-on-one coaching experience designed exclusively for perfectionists like you. Your perfectionism is actually your greatest asset, and leveraging it can be hard work or take years of guesswork. That's why in Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, I give you my key frameworks to taking charge of your Ferrari drive, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you will cut your burnout in half, increase your professional fulfillment by at least 150%, and your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. And that is just your first 30 days. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today. Or if you want to take the easy way, just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator.